SportsGrid.com. He's Roch Kubatko. Roch, I'm glad I showered before this block because we're awful close right now, my friend. We've seen the long stretches, the 10 stretch and all those road trips. Right. But this is a 3-game road stretch, man. This is – and a train ride back. Orioles got to be happy about that, right?
Yeah, keep your hands where I can see them, by the way. Yeah, didn't we just have 3 cities in the last one? No, I didn't do Toronto, so it felt like 2 cities. But here, yeah, it's only 2 nights because we're heading out Wednesday. And the Orioles 6-13 all-time against the Mets in Flushing. Now, that's regular season. We don't count the 69 World Series. We still pretend that never happened. Yeah. Forever in denial. The Mets were only 33-32 at home. The Orioles, meanwhile, 36-24 on the road. And they have a chance to finish with a winning percentage of .600 or better on the road in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 69 and 70. Now they're 15-19 in interleague games this year, so that's been a little bit of a problem. But they have been a good road team, and the Mets, who are a couple games out of the wild card, really need to start playing better at home, and the Orioles hope that happens after they're out of here.
When we get out of town, they can play as good as they want to play. Talk about the closer situation. I mean, you came into the season, you thought you knew who your closer was. That didn't quite work out, so now Brandon Haas had to juggle some things around. He has, and he's never come right out and said, this person right here is my closer, but he came a little close today when we were talking about Seranthony Domínguez, and he said, if I need those 3 big outs at the end, he has a, quote, good shot at being the guy, and I think it's a very, very good shot, and why not? It's 2 runs and 10 1/3, 13 strikeouts. Did give up a solo homer to Ref Snyder yesterday, but he's been really good, and they're saying they're not doing anything special with him. He's very confident. He's got the stuff. And meanwhile, Craig Kimbrel was throwing in the bullpen again today, trying to work on, they think still, tweak some mechanics. The walks are really hurting him. Sometimes it's a walk, it's a couple stolen bases, it's a fly ball, and he's getting beat. They're still working on that. And you look at it, it's striking how we were talking about this guy should be an all-star in the first half. 2.80 ERA, 0.932, 6.2 whip. Teams are hitting 150 against them. Second half completely different, 8.31, 23.08. They're hitting 2.86. So he's no longer even in a reset at this point. I mean, he's a guy that they're going to try and bring in lower leverage situations. So really, it's got to be somebody to close, and Domínguez has earned it. Meanwhile, we saw Andrew Miller in the clubhouse earlier today. Good to see
brought back memories of that 2014 bullpen. They got him at the deadline to make a really good bullpen even more dominant. And that gave Buck Showalter the chance to really line up the bullpen. Because remember, you had him, you had Darren O'Day, Brad Brock, Tommy Hunter, to get the ball to Zach Britton. And Brandon Hyde would love to have something similar like that. And he kind of did last year when Cano, Coulombe, to get to Bautista, and things now have really changed this year. And with Kimbrel struggling, he cannot really set up the bullpen very often. And it is a lot of mix and matching. He really wants to be able to get to where he can get guys, ideally, in more set roles.
And Miller said he thought that should have been a World Series team back then.
Should have been. Ran into a hot one at the end.
Yeah, I love Seranthony because I love his name, number one. Right. But I love his demeanor. He reminds me a lot of Bautista in this. He may come in. Bautista came in with the hype, the whole Omar wire, but once he got on the mound, he was settled. A very calm demeanor. You see that in Seranthony.
Yeah, and even when Kimbrel was going really well, there were some volatile outings, but he would still go ahead and he'd get the save. And this guy has been, pretty much drama-free again. He had the one pitch yesterday, then he struck out 3 that inning. Right. And he's very calm and composed. He appreciates this opportunity. I think he's really happy to be here where he's going to get that opportunity to be the guy.
Okay, first we saw Gunnar Henderson. Then we saw Jordan Westburg. Then we saw Colton Cowser, now Austin Slater in that leadoff position. Slater provides a lot of what Brandon Hyde likes at that spot. Yeah, we're going to see him a lot maybe. I mean, if you look at, they're facing 3 lefties in this series and probably 2 against the Astros in Baltimore. And, he's reached base maybe 9 times in 18 plate appearances with the Orioles. And in his career, he's been really good against lefties, 275 with an 801 OPS. Now, this year, not so much. It's 198. It's 535. But they like him atop the order in these situations because, again, they're looking at the longer view, what he's done, the bigger sample size. Brandon mentioned the drag bunt for the single to lead off the other day. Can run pretty well, too. And they like his defense in the outfield. So I'm kind of wondering with this many lefties, otherwise it's 5 and maybe in the next 7 games, if he's going to keep going with this type of lineup where we're just going to see him in left field every day. And then maybe is Mullins not going to play center at all? He and Cowser share. It's going to be a different kind of order with these lefties. I don't know if Slater's going to start 7 games or 5 games or whatever, 5. But they do like that kind of matchup. This gives him that opportunity to do that. And he does some different things, and you can lower the other guys in the order. drag bunts are impressive regardless of who does them. But for righties, it's even more impressive coming across the plate to get a drag bunt. Listen, Orioles woke up this morning, tied for first place in the AL East. No one's playing out of this world baseball right now in the American League. Do you feel the next team that makes a run could be the team that runs away with this thing?
If somebody can make a run.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about in either league. The Orioles are just trying to stay close enough toward the end of September when they get their guys back, when Grayson Rodriguez is back and Jordan Westberg's back and Danny Coulombe, and before that probably Jacob Webb. So, I mean, if you get, that's going to be a real bump that I don't know if any other team can match. So, but you just at least want to be there and stay close to do that. Nobody's running away with it. The Yankees could have while the Orioles were struggling. The Orioles could have put a lot of distance there when the Yankees are struggling. And nobody looks like they want to really take over right now.
Well, they want to have an interesting September.
And the Orioles do go to New York later.
That's right.
So,
Roch, thanks a lot, man.